And we want to welcome our next person on stage. Uh, Welcome. I hope I pronounced it right, Eunice. And while I'm checking the backstage things here, Donna, I hand back over to you.
Okay. Hello, Eunice. Very nice to see you. Haven't seen you for a while.
Hi
Um,
there.
Eunice's talk is being brought to us by three communities. She's part of Asian Kai, IXDA Perth, and CKI. And her talk is called Diversity, Equality and Inclusion in Financial Technology. This is a 30-minute talk, so please pop some questions into the Q&A as she goes. We'll see if we can take some at the end of the talk, and otherwise we can take them off to the Q&A session. And we'll hand over to you.
Stage is all
Thank you.
yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Donna. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Eunice, and I just want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone around the globe. And today I just want to say hello from the really cold Perth. We are just really in the winter time at the moment. So yeah, this is what I want to talk today. Is about diversity, equality, and inclusion in financial technology. So about me, I mean, like I was born in Indonesia, but I live elsewhere, and yeah, so it was very interesting to hear Ananya talk before, because I think Ananya, you probably wants to get in touch with me because I'm one of the advisory board of the Service Design Network Academy in Germany, and maybe you want to like discuss more how we can actually work together for the service design in the world. And yeah, so this is what I've been doing, like, and I'm representing the Sikai Southeast Asia community and also Asian Kai. So basically, we are like a bunch of people interested who are interested in the field of human-computer interaction as well as user experience, and see how the cross part between the academic and the industry. And I'm also have a special interest in the service design as well because I started, like I'm doing it back in 2013. And also, like as Donna said before, well, we just started the IXDA in Perth, and that's why we are looking for collaboration with anyone who are interested, like to bring content and then talk with the people, especially in Asia Pacific. So before I continue my talk, I just want to ask people if you can pop your answer on the chat. So if you look at your mobile phone right now, like can you check how many apps related to money, related to the bank, related to finance that you have in your mobile phone? So you've got a 1 minute. Can you please check now? Nine. Wow, Peter. That's great. Yeah. Okay. Peter got 9. And anyone else maybe wants to share how many apps related to the mobile finance device or whatever it is? 2, 3. Well, this is great to hear that people have at least 2 or maybe 10 for Catherine. Amazing. Rucha, 21. Amazing. you are you are the most like got the app in your mobile phone. So this is why I'm interested like to talk about this. One of the reason because we talk our work in UX and service design are closely related in the financial technology in the Asia Pacific, and this is an area that has become more hotter and hotter, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, because people just want to do everything online and there is no other option. So everyone goes online, everyone do everything online. So it's like myself, like if I don't bring my mobile phone, it feels that I don't have anything. It's my lifeline. I cancel all meeting, I go back and then take another bus or public transport for another 1 or 2 hours, and then got this my mobile phone and app just to got pay everything. So this is just amazing how people transform. And also like my dad, my family who never got any mobile phone in the past or never use any app, they're starting to use for everything, to buy food or to send packages and everything. So things have changed a lot. So it's like as I said before, like we have the technology, the money is actually on your palm, on your hand. But when we look at the different from the different point of view, like we look from a different way how people has actually developed like a different direction, how mobile like a finance like has been used at different purpose. It's like how Nani talked one thing about the NFT, blockchain, and everything like that. But we also talk about how the bank has transformed, how actually we change the way we do commerce, we pay, we are doing all other things on online. And then this actually bring us together. More people got together, more people got connected, and also bring more problem as well. Because everything that relates to human, it's I mean, like I'm not being negative here, but then it's also always there's like a negative point that people cheated you, people like we try to we are one of our work is actually we try to help the elderly people actually like to be aware that there is people wants to steal money from your mobile phone, which is really sad because they just started to use their even though they are old, but they are really like like they kind of like they just started, they are newbie in all this payment system. So one of what the area that I'm interested to look at is actually about diversity, equality, and inclusion. We know all this technology actually brings something good, makes our life better, but then it's like how diverse, how equal, how inclusive this technology. So this has become something that's really, like has become like dear to me, and we gonna look at slowly. Like when we talk about diversity, we are aware that everyone is different, and then it's not just like the gender, but it's also actually about race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, language, age, marital status, veteran status, mental ability, physical abilities, disabilities, even range of ideas, perspectives, values. We are so diverse. And then when we talk about equality, we are talking about how we have treat people fairly, giving an fair access to people, equal opportunity and advancement for everyone. And when we talk about inclusion, do we make people feel welcome when they use our product and services? Do they feel like supported? Do they feel respected? Or they just being feel like, oh, I don't have anything. I don't have so much, like in my right now, like I'm left behind because everyone now doesn't have like a real money, but they use the, like they use their phone. So this is really, and for me, it is very interesting because most of my clients are working on the financial technology, and to understand in the ecosystem how actually the financial technology company, the government, the other like stakeholders actually has enabled the users and the customer to have a diverse, equal, and inclusive opportunity and environments to fulfill their financial needs. So my talk will be on Indonesia. If you have not been to Indonesia, you probably have heard about Bali. So you see Bali is just a little dot here, and then Indonesia is like the whole archipelago. This is one of the biggest archipelago. So like when you design for Indonesia, you design, like Ananya said before, we design for the like a billion users. We don't design just for small group of people. We really need to think like how we can actually design things well. We look at this Indonesia population. 2018, we only have 261 million. But then, if you see here, the mobile subscription is for 415 million. And then, the bank population is only 48 million, which means that people don't really like to use the bank. They just use maybe their piggy bank, maybe their bamboo to keep their money. They keep their money under the bed. But they are using like a social media very active. You see, like it's almost half of the population. And the internet population also quite high. But all of this, like we are using a lot of mobile phone, and then they don't really borrow from the finance institution. Why? Because like people sometimes, like some people, they don't really have like a really job that they have on like they probably just gig workers, and they probably not doing not having like a steady income every day. So how do we like how do we do that? It's like in Indonesia, fintech is especially like when we talk about fintech, is how we use the technology for like in financial has grown so much, and most of them they are relying so much on the use of technology. And this is a mobile technology. This is so amazing, and this can be like a payment, as you can see here, so much of them lending, because they don't really believe in the banking, like they in the past, like because they don't have access so much on the past. This peer-to-peer lending actually open up so much opportunities for them, because they can go there and then get the lending with no uh, nothing. I mean, like they can just like get their like like their money, like and like they it's enable them to get funding for doing their business, small businesses. So this is amazing. And for POS system, people don't pay anymore with money, they pay with their mobile phone. And we also have a lot of crypto, blockchain, and like a personal finance, wealth management. It's everything like all the banks that actually have done in the past. They make it really, really like this financial technology or the fintech companies. They make it possible for anyone actually have an equal access. So if we look at the percentage of distribution of the Indonesian ecosystem, like most of the companies, they are doing payment and doing lending, like and then a little bit of everything here. Blockchain is quite new, accounting is quite new, and but only these two are the majority. But then this actually not making the bank actually like just stay quiet, because they say like, okay, well, I'm now losing my like customers and clients because people tend to use the fintech's app rather than my bank. So they actually make things possible actually for making the the situation easier for them. For example, to get a personal loan, you don't have to have anything like only in a big cities you only need to have a minimum income of 250 Australian dollar. For some of you, it's probably, well, it's your pay rate or something like that. But this is like a monthly pay money rate for the people, and that with that you can get up to 10,000 Australian dollar loan. And then with the money installment and the customer centric adjusted tenor, which means that you got a 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and then you don't really have to do. You can choose when you want to pay with very low interest. So they really like open up opportunity. And how did they do it? Like how they come up with this idea? They look at their. It was impossible for them to do that in the past, but they did. They listened to people. They did a lot of UX research. They did really like an ongoing basis, trying to listen and understand. The bank in Indonesia, it is like one of the most rigid environment because a lot of like rules from the government. But I mean, like things slowly changed because they started to look at the user experience. They look at the people like this female. They actually like people in the remote area. They really depend on the their husband, the farmers. And if the husband, something happened to their husband, they don't know what to do. They don't even drive. They don't even do it. They don't have anything, right? But there's like with like a small business loan that enable them. Like the bank actually doing a lot of research. Like they actually help these people to really like reach out these female workers, and then they started to think, okay, well, let me do this, like this work, and let me start this business. So this is something that enable us enable like the enable people to access to the money and funding and the financial. It's also when we talk about the equality and inclusivity, like we are such a this big country, and there are a lot of people, and a lot of bank actually like starting to hire and then hire people with a disability to work with them. And then when they do that, like they also like opening up their places with easily access for people to come and then to do transaction in the bank, and then it's starting to think about disability and accessibility. In say, for example, because Indonesia is one of the biggest Islamic country, so one of the diversity, equality, inclusion aspect is like okay, well, I mean like everything, like a lot of them like using the Sharia law. And then people starting to think, well, Sharia law is very the offering is very good. Why don't we? What is it possible to be like open to people who are non-Muslim? And they started to think about that. They listen to people. They not just like stay in like in their comfort zone, but they're starting to really open, especially for the last couple of years. We talk about the blockchain. So this is like one of the very interesting, like a project. Actually, they help the farmers actually to create new job opportunity, and especially for the women farmers, because uh, like this app actually helping people to like doing crop planting to improve the economy of the farmers. They are using the blockchain technology, making sure that like everyone, every farmer, they collected the data and then they put that into like Ethereum, and they also go to NFT as well. So there's a lot of things actually going on in Indonesia, and again like back to my previous story, it's about like your mobile phone. It has become your wallet. It has become the center of your life. You live on that. You sleep. You do everything on your mobile phone, basically. And then this is one of the most interesting case study that I've been working on, and then it is very interesting that how things have changed from the legacy paper base to really like make everything happen within 5 minutes, right? And then what happened? Like they starting to look at people because of the COVID, people not only working in the office, but they are working as a gig worker, for example. And they make it so easy and difficult, so easy for people to get a saving. But then there is a problem. The problem is like how might we balance between government regulation and innovation? There are so many companies and banks started to do the innovation, but there's a lot of rules that does not enable them to do so. For example, you got these robotic things, right? That enable people to do everything in a very short time. But then the funny things like they do it like this system actually stop by 8 p.m. You can't do anything until the next day at 6 a.m. So what is the purpose? But that's because of the government regulation, right? And then this is something that how we actually like as a UX designer, service designer, actually we balance, we work with the different stakeholders and actually like make things happen. And then like to make sure that innovation, the transformation of the technology can happen, and everyone can get a really like a equal access and opportunities. And then there's also a question like, I don't know about other country, but in Indonesia, like we struggle with this, like a concept of people will think that UX, and UI, UX/UI, that's a thing. But like which one is more important, because there are a lot of changing of transition from the graphic design, and then they become a UI designer, and then the US designer are the UX as well. So that's always like a becoming things. And then the company maturity is very different. So what to balance, like the look or the functionality of the product, which one is it like to focus on? Now, when we design something, we all also need to ensure that every design that we have needs to make sure that everybody got an equal access. I mentioned that Indonesia is the largest archipelago in the world. Some people, they don't have access to the technology at all. How can we make sure that they have access? They can use our apps. It's because we just do not want to make people just in the Jakarta area or in the Bali area got access to the technology, but everybody with the on off like an internet connection also get access. And then and also like even though we say like well, we gotta access, we give access to like the female now, the farmer, the gig worker, but then how about the other types of users? Like have they got the same access? Can they use the app properly? This is also a challenge as well. When things got really working and everything is like go online, how can we make sure that nobody left behind? So this is another question that we always like juggle on daily basis. So we always need to like dig deeper into user needs and discern between their needs and wants, like is it necessary or not. We need to balance between the business and the users, customers and stakeholder needs. Of course, like the business wants more money because this is like a green field. But then we also need to think of the other issue about access, about equality, equal opportunity, diversity, and inclusion as well. We try to cram everything. The traditional organization, the bank, try to cram everything into the app, but sometimes they like a digital, like a pamphlet or everything. How can we make sure that we just do not cram it? We simplify them, we amplify them. How do we make sure that, because if we don't do that, like the regulation would not allow us to do anything, right? But then if we don't do that, if we do that, it will like we have to sacrifice a lot of the design decision that we have to make. And continually like we do market research, we do UX research, just to make sure this is on like on a regular basis. We check because things change. Like things, what happened in the past, what happened 6 months ago, sometimes does not apply anymore right now. So things change a lot, and it is. I found it myself. It's really, like a really useful to to work with the users closely as the design partners through the participatory design process, because that's how we can actually learn. And this is a really important because when the government, the different stakeholders learn about what users is thinking and needing, and sometimes a lot of a lot of decision, a lot of policy has been changed, and a lot of new policy has been made. So understand the journey. This is the stakeholders, not just the users, but also the stakeholder as well. Respecting them, and in like trying to make perfect world. And that's my friend actually find it say something really interesting. I mean, like we live in the chicken and egg world. That's what I what I say. But what I mean is that you know um, there are so many rules, and we do not know which rule will still work or which still doesn't work. And then this is like a start first, and if it doesn't work, then we will be reminded to stop. Anyway, well, that's what I want to share, and I hope people would learn something from this story. And and I'm so inspired by Johannes, so that's why I changed my clothes to the unicorn. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so
By the
much.
way, I brought a unicorn coffee cup.
Oh my goodness. You should open like a unicorn shop.
Ah, no, I keep everything on my own. Wouldn't make
Oh,
sense to
okay.
open a shop. Oh, no.
I should send you my my company. We got a lot of unicorn dolls, and we give it to our customer. Maybe I should send it to you one day.
Awesome. I would really love to have some stuff like that.